taking off like a Boeing. If the volume spikes, then it's time to trade. Mighty 90 setting up, it's time to get paid. Dr. Chad on the mic, time to get focused. We don't need any indicator, hocus pocus. It's all about the price, just watch it move. Manage your risks so you don't lose. First hour of trading is all we need. Focus on the patience and forget about greed.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's day trading live stream. Today is Monday, December 15th. Hope everybody had a good weekend. S&P futures currently up 38 points. NASDAQ up 167. The Russell is up 20 and the Dow is up 250. Russell is the strongest of the four indices. Gold is making another run towards all-time highs. Not quite there yet, but it's up over 0.5% in pre-market. Silver is up 3%, also close to its all-time highs. Notes and bonds are a little bit green. 10-year yield is down a little over 0.5%. Oil is down 0.5%. Natural gas is down 1.2%. Soybeans pretty flat. Wheat and corn a little bit red. Euro and the pound are green, and Bitcoin is down about 1%, just under 90,000. VIX getting a little Monday pump, up to a little over 2%. Good morning, Articulate. At the open, I'll be doing a 1 DTE as well as a 3-4 put calendar. Looks like the expected range in SPX is going to be around 30 points. NASDAQ creeping up towards Thursday's lows, right into the open. S&P's up a little bit higher than that. It's above several of the weekly lows last week. Tesla acting like one of the strongest stocks pre-market. Tesla and MU are both up right around 2.5%. NVIDIA also up almost 2%, although chips have been a little bit weaker lately. Morning, Hondo. Got about 1 minute until the bell. Got a couple earnings later this week. MU, Nike, and FedEx are really the only ones, Wednesday and Thursday. As far as news, not much today. A couple Fed speakers this morning. Tomorrow, non-farm employment, retail sales, some other employment data. Wednesday, just a couple Fed speakers. Thursday, CPI. And then Friday, not much. There's the bell. Looks like SPX about 30.19 is the expected range. Pretty close to Friday's range. Puts the lower at about 68.30. Upper at about 68.90. It looks like I didn't have my audio on, so you guys didn't get to hear the intro, did you? Sorry about that. Just went to turn it off so you wouldn't hear my order fills, and never was on. I just got filled on my 3-4 put calendar. First initial move, S&P, NASDAQ dipping a little bit. Russell dipped, but it's getting bought up. Just posted my 1 DTE. 95 wide on the 1 DTE. Tesla not wasting any time. Up almost 4%. MU also staying strong. PLTR pushing above Friday's high. Tesla pushing out of this consolidation that it's been in for the last few months. On its way to all-time highs, which is 488. So about 11 points away. Now we got the indices coming down. Tesla's still staying pretty strong. All the big tech are dropping. Apple, Amazon, Google, Netflix, Nvidia, Microsoft, Meta, all coming down. Banks are all staying green. Cryptos are coming down. Bitcoin coming down. Trading the 4 DTE options today. Tesla, little dip, back up through highs of day. PLTR held above yesterday's high. Indices starting to bounce. Tech starting to bounce a little bit. Or Meta is, Microsoft is, Nvidia, Goog, Apple still coming down. So PLTR and Tesla are kind of the strongest here. Strongest price action from the open. Tesla just hit 480. Yeah, banks are pushing, all three of them. JP Morgan, Goldman, Bank of America. Bitcoin, big bounce back above yesterday's low, Friday's low. S&P, NASDAQ trying to bounce, but getting pushed back down a little bit. S&P, NASDAQ back through lows. Watching Tesla here. If I take calls in Tesla, I'll take the 485s. S&P, NASDAQ trying to bounce again. PLTR hovering around previous day high. Some of the chips coming down. MU getting weak now. All right, I'm going to take a trade in Tesla calls. 485s filled at $10.67. Kind of held that first 5-minute bar. So I'm using that as my line in the sand. Just barely even dipped whenever the S&P and NASDAQ made a pretty decent little push lower. Well, Tesla ticked up to 481, ticked through highs, and then dipped right back down.
Order filled. Order filled.
Tesla kind of dipping now. See if it can hold here. Hold and extend. Not the dip I was looking for out of Tesla. When it held above the first 5-minute bar and started making a push up. I was looking for a little extension. It made a quick tick above and then right back down. So I'm going to be looking to cut this here if it doesn't bounce. Looking a little wicky on top. S&P's a little bounce getting pushed back down again. Any lower here on Tesla, I'm going to have to cut. NASDAQ through lows. S&P through lows. like to let that 5-minute bar close and then see if we get any reaction here before I cut. It's just kind of chopping around now, right here at the lows of that last 5-minute bar. See if it can pop back up here. It's trying. S&P and NASDAQ. Trying to get bought up a little bit. Nvidia, big bounce back. Bitcoin still coming down. PLTR dipped below previous day high. It's trying to bounce again. Indices still acting pretty weak. Tesla trying to make its way back up. See if it can swallow up those wicks and push through. Tesla hovering back at highs. See if it can stay strong. It needs a little help from its friends here. Need a little help from the indices. Apple still weak. Amazon, Google, Netflix, Meta, and Nvidia bounce back. PLTR bouncing back above previous day high.
Order partially filled. Order filled. Order partially filled.
S&P still putting in new lows. NASDAQ, a little bounce, getting pushed back down. I like the strength in Tesla with the market being as weak as it is. I'd prefer the market to start getting strong and help everybody out. Big flush in CoreWeave, it's down 6%. Hood is down over 2%. It's pushing new lows. All the cryptos are pushing new lows. Now PLTR dipping back down. Tesla could not push above high of day. Coin, big coin, and MSTR and Circle, all big volume bars to the downside. See if Tesla can just hold its head up long enough for SPX to fill the gap, and then let's go all up, lift everybody up. Banks dipping a little bit. SPX right down to Friday's lows. The lower expected moves at 68.30. Friday's close is at 68.27, a few points below. Tesla trying to bounce. It wants to go. Tezzy wants to go. It's just being held back right now. It's trying to make another push towards highs. VIX got up to almost 16.5. One DTE is down a little bit, 2%, 1%, nothing really. S&P and NASDAQ still making lows. Russell lows. Bitcoin still flushing. Bitcoin's down 2.3%. MSTR is down 4. Coin is down 4.5. Circles down 7. Tesla's starting to dip a little bit. SPX approaching the lower expected move, which I've marked at about 68.30. Yeah, Joseph T is supposed to be 30 wide. I don't know why it's 25 on that one. Yeah, CoreWeave's getting pummeled with volume. More big volume in MSTR and coin. Bitcoin, big volume spike after this big flush. I wouldn't doubt if that signals a little exhaustion. Same with MSTR and coin. Hood. Microsoft coming down now. Amazon, Apple. Tesla still kind of holding, but SPX right down to unchanged. All right, I'm going to have to consider cutting Tesla here. If it doesn't bounce. SPX getting a little reaction off yesterday's close, along with the expected move area. Apple starting to bounce, Microsoft starting to bounce, Meta. Need Tesla to bounce here. IWM still pushing through yesterday's lows, Friday's lows. Netflix still weak through previous day low. Tesla started to get bought up. It's coming back down. S&P back down to lows. We just have to cut this and look for a re-entry. Got about a minute left on this bar. VIX up to 16.75. Taking a bigger loss on this Tesla trade than I'm wanting to. Just trying to let this bar close, but it's getting, things are getting weak here. A little bounce coming in. S&P, NASDAQ trying to stay green. IWM, nice aggressive bounce back above yesterday's high, previous day low. Aggressive bounce out of NVIDIA, back up towards highs. Decent bounce out of Tesla. I held that one too long. I should have waited for this level here, which is the top of that consolidation level that I showed you on the daily chart. But let's see if it can rebound. It's still very strong compared to everything else. Apple's still going through lows. Netflix still weak. Microsoft's still weak. Crypto's bouncing up to the last big volume spike. Nvidia ticked up through highs of day. Decent drop on VIX after that little bounce. A lot of stocks bouncing here. Some are not. AVGO still going through lows. Microsoft still coming down. Crypto stocks got a little bounce. SPX back in the red. NASDAQ still red. Tesla dipping again. Part of the reason I'm holding Tesla here is because this is kind of the original level I was looking at pre-market. It blew through it. So I used the top of the first 5-minute bar, and it looked like it was going to rip, and then obviously everything got weak. So it's right back here at this level, which is not the way to manage risk around a level, but I just, like, if I got out, I would want to get back right back in at this level. But if it cracks here, I'm going to have to... All right, I'm cutting. Filled at some at 711, some at 706. I'll keep my eye on Tesla. May re-enter, but took a bigger loss than I wanted to on that based on letting it go down as much as it did. S&P back to lows. Hood getting a decent bounce. Bitcoin's still coming down. Got this gap on Hood marked. We just flushed right down to it, so I would look for a potential reversal on Hood if we get a little bit of a fake sell-off and then start acting strong again. But Bitcoin's still going through lows. You just said the same thing, Watson. IREN, I don't know what that is. Let's see. Options are, yeah, it's tradable. I mean, not something that I'm going to add to my list or anything, but it's only a $37 stock, 12 cent, 13 cent wide, bid ask, decent volume. So yeah, it's tradable. Indices still pushing lows. Meta flush through lows. It's trying to bounce. Goog's had a nice bounce off of its lows. Tesla's still trying to hold that level, which is the top of this consolidation area from the dailies. Every little bounce in SPX getting shoved back down. Be back in 1 minute. VIX approaching 17. It's getting a little bloody this morning, kids. A little bloody. NASDAQ ticking at previous day lows, Friday's lows. S&P not quite down that far. Hood looks like it may be putting in a little reversal here. Flush through that level that I mentioned. Decent little bounce. Tried to sell again. Failing. Give it a minute here. I may take some calls and hit. If I take it, I'll do the 120 calls. Bitcoin still flushing new lows. Bitcoin down almost 4%. JP Morgan rolled over, Bank of America, Goldman. Yeah, that's typically the case when you're trading a reversal, is it's going to look ugly. Kind of uncomfortable to get in for sure. Tezzy held that level, bouncing. Could have been a little more patient on Tesla as far as my entry. I was too patient on my exit. Not enough patience on my entry. It's supposed to be the other way around. AVGO just bleeding. AMD just went red. SMH back to lows. MSTR down 7%. Yowzers. VIX over 17. Pumping that premium. I think they call this the Santa slide, Krish. Yeah, see, Hood didn't keep that strength up, so that's a no trade at this point. Tesla's little bounce got shoved back down. Even the mighty Tezzy's being held back here. Just straight downhill. S&P approaching previous day low. Big volume in cryptos. Not too much volume really on the sell-off in a lot of these chip stocks. Or big tech. Nvidia now through lows. Yeah, AVGO taking a beating after it hit that all-time high. 414 down to 344 in 3 sessions. Is the AI bubble popping? Is that what's going on? I think it's the AI bubble popping. Hood still trying to bounce. I'm not ready to, after this last leg, I'm not quite ready to jump in anything. To the long side, I'll let Hood, looks like it may be the guinea pig for the first reversal, so I'll let it play out. I'll try to get something else. Try to catch the tail instead of the head here. If we bounce. Of note, we did roll the active futures in a lot of contracts. So S&P, NASDAQ, Russell, Dow. Bitcoin hasn't rolled yet from December, but a lot of these contracts rolled to March. Notes and bonds all rolled to March. So if you look at an ES chart, for example, it's going to look a little goofy on the continuous contract. Looks like we pushed above Wednesday's highs. Then if you look at SPX, didn't even come close. So that's why. Yeah, that's when they expire, but you always want to be trading the actively traded contract. So, for example, if you go to ES, you always want to be trading the contract that has the most volume. So you can see that December has traded 634,000, and now the March has traded 750,000 today. So that's when it becomes the active contract, when the volume shifts from one to the other. So you always want to be in the active one. But yes, it expires on Friday. Yep, Hood getting that little bounce. Bitcoin trying to bounce. PLTR bouncing off of unchanged. S&P bouncing off previous day low. Yeah, this is exactly where we ripped from on Friday. Had that little mini short squeeze. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap the stream here. Starting to see a little bouncing coming in. So most likely the next trade will be a long, looking for a reversal of some sort. So I will post in the day trade channel if I see anything enticing. You see Hood is kind of leading. All right, I had that bounce, tried to sell off. Now it's pushing back up. But let's see if some others follow suit and try to catch something. Microsoft having a nice bounce, Meta having a nice bounce off previous day low. So we'll give it a little time to confirm, and then I'll post any thoughts or ideas in the day trading. All right, all. Take care. Have a good day. We'll see you in Power Hour. Cheers.